In a harmonious fusion of literary prowess and cultural exchange, a momentous gathering took place in Stockholm as the Mongolian embassy in the Kingdom of Sweden orchestrated the enchanting spring warmth event. This auspicious occasion, held in commemoration of the 60th anniversary of diplomatic relations between the two countries, served as a vibrant tapestry interwoven with the rich threads of Mongolian language, poetry, and culture. Details from MNB's reporter in Sweden, Alter Hishek. Under the distinguished patronage of Ambassador Canbazar, luminaries from the realms of literature and poetry converged to partake in the celebration of artistic camaraderie. The event bore witness to the presence of esteemed writer and poet Kamjavi Mindoya, adorned with the prestigious Order of Genghis Khan, whose profound words echoed the essence of the Mongolian heritage. In his poignant opening address, Ambassador Canbazar summarized the spirit of the gathering, underscoring the event's commitment to fostering linguistic diversity and cross-cultural understanding. As the guests unveiled their literary masterpieces to a captivated audience, including eager young minds keen to take in the wisdom of their cultural heritage, the air resonated with animated discussions on the Mongolian language, culture, and history. Writer and poet Mindoya expressed his profound joy in bringing this cultural extravaganza to the Mongolian diaspora in Sweden. The event featured distinguished guests like Swedish actor Leif Olsson, known for his association with Nobel laureate Thomas Tranströmer, who captivated the audience with his recitations. Per Bergström, director of the Remus Publishing House, and Matthias Lafoli, director of Pajala's Culture Department, enriched the cultural exchange, highlighting the event's global literary dialogue.
It's wonderful to finally, since we have had this cooperation since last year, and we had Swedish poets being in UB and in Mongolia, and for them to work so close to the Mongolian poetry and to find out more thing about how great it is and differences and equality. It's wonderful now to be able to have these translations printed in Sweden and published, and that the poets, Mongolian poets, have been able to come here and meet the Swedish audience and introduce Mongolian poetry to Swedish readers, because previously we have not had, there is like almost only one book, previous anthology of Mongolian poetry, and now we will have more, and people are interested, and people really enjoy taking part of the Mongolian poetry, which have noticed. I mean, today was the first reading we had in Stockholm, but we have Oyo has now been a couple of days to a town in northern Sweden where people have felt very connected to his poetry and really listened to it. So there is, of course, differences between Sweden and Mongolian poetry that are interesting, but there are also so much that are connecting and that are similar, that can really go to the heart of the Swedish readers, I would say.
I've now read a lot of Mongolian poetry, and I find it's sometimes similar to Swedish poetry, but it has very often to do with nature. But the difference is that you talk much about the sky, the sun, the moon, and the horses tracks on the steps, and that is so fantastic to me. It touches me, and also it's so concrete, your poetry. It's not no constructions at all. It's not abstract. It's really, everything is a picture of something that you really experience. So it's so good. And of course the generosity and the friendship of the Mongolian writers and people that I know here, Oyo and so on, helps me a lot to want to read more about Mongolia, want to know more, and also, of course, read lots of your poetry.
Since last year, poets and translators from both countries have engaged in a fascinating exchange, translating each other's poetry and writings. This cultural dialogue culminated in a two-day showcase where Mongolian poets and writers presented their works to a Swedish audience. This initiative underscores the significant contribution of cultural partnerships to the relations between the two nations. The Embassy of Mongolia deserves commendation for its excellent organization of this event.
Amidst the poetic ambience, the spring-warmed event showcased literature's ability to unite nations and foster lasting friendships across borders.